Good evening. We are beginning the session at 6:10. So kindly be patient. I can see one stick around. We are just giving 4 minutes for others to join. Then our moderator will join us. Just give us 4 minutes. Yeah, we'll start. I can see we are 5 as we wait for others to join. We are starting in 3 minutes time. I'm Katile, a member of Youth Barrier Breakers Africa, and I thank you all for joining us. We're just giving 3 minutes for others to join, and we'll start the session as others will join later. So don't worry of the numbers, others will join us as we go on. We are also live in our page, so you can also tell your friends to look at our page. Thank you. So we are starting at 6:10. Gift, we are starting at 6:10. We are waiting for you.
Hi, Katile.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you're supposed to start right now. You'll wait until 6:10.
You can start at 6:10. Yeah,
Okay, fine.
as others join later.
Okay.
Okay. Gift, we can now start. So as we are waiting for gifts, today we'll have a topic on boy-child empowerment versus girl-child chauvinism. We're not talking about how to compete for girls and boys. We are talking about how we can empower the boy-child the same way we are empowering the girl-child. Nowadays, you can see that we are having many sessions about the girl-child, and then we're like, kwani this boy-child tutamfanyia nini? So that's the discussion we will have. And Gift, you are on, I think you can start off. Gift, we can't hear you.
You can hear me right now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I had not muted my mic. Okay, welcome to our today's session about the empowerment of the girls and the boy child. I know mostly people have basically sided with the girls so much. So today we want to give the boys opportunity so that we can know how we can handle them and help them as the way we handle the girls' empowerment. So I'll welcome our speaker to introduce the topic of today and give us a way forward. We'll ask more questions and I hope that we'll be all interactive together. Be free to ask anything and don't majorly side with one side. We want to normalize everything so that we can handle both the boy child and the girl child. So welcome, Collins. You're the first speaker of today's session. Welcome.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Good evening too.
So sorry. I'm just for a training in Nanyuki and actually nimefika saizi and I knew I was the speaker, but I don't know, Katile, we were supposed to talk about the boy child. I thought maybe you guys could maybe inform me what do you want us to talk about, because at the end of the day, you know, the boy child issues is a very general issue, so that I can be able to. Yes.
Okay, Collins. Okay, the boy child, you know, majorly, let me just give a brief discussion or a brief summarize. Okay, mostly people are majorly focusing on the girl child, whereby you get it's only women empowerment, the boy child empower, the girl child empowerment story. So we don't majorly focus on the boys, whereby you see men killing themselves due to depression and stress, and majorly sometimes it's brought up with the love issues and relationship among the youths, whereby when this happens, people say that the girl child maybe is the one who's supposed to be mostly affected, whereby we forget that the boy child is being affected and ending up having depressions, having early diseases like pressure, like sugar, because of such things. So I want you enlighten us, how can we handle such a situation so that we can welcome the other youths or the people who are working with the youths in the society or a community on how to handle such situations and start opening up forums for the boy child empowerment.
Oh, thank you so much. I think you're clear now. And first of all, my name is Collins Moredi. I'm a founder of Center for Adolescent and Young Change Makers. And one of the programs that we are doing is called Kijana Kamili, whereby we empower the boy child to become a responsible man. The reason why I decided to focus on the boy child is because personally, myself, I had a father who was present, but at the same time, he was absent because I never remember us talking about the issues of man because we were just talking casual issues, but those issues that we could discuss, maybe what you girls discuss with your mothers, with your aunties, with your sisters. I couldn't get someone to help me on that. So I grew up not knowing who I was as a man, and that thing really affected me. And as I was just growing up, I didn't know actually who is a man. And that is a question that so many men ask themselves. That is a question that so many boys ask themselves, who am I? And when we begin, that is the most important thing that we need to do as men. We need to ask ourselves, who am I? Who is a man according to what is right? Because again, the society, the community has given up the wrong definition of who is a man. So basically we find our young men, we find boys not growing up in a manner that is not so good, because again, it is not our problem, it's not their problem. It's just that they have grown up to be sidelined, to be left behind. That's why I was so passionate about empowering the boy child, and we've been doing it as an organization for the last 3 years in community. And one, how we do it is that we have a club for men, boys club, whereby it is called Gentleman's Club. This is a place whereby we come together as men, as boys, and just discuss about men issues. That is one avenue. We discuss about who is a man, what are the roles of a man, and how can we as men support one another. Because again, we understand that one of the things that is really affecting men is actually as men. We don't support ourselves the way you girls support yourself, the way women support themselves. So we find that when we are championing girl child programs, which is not bad as men, but we are forgetting to champion for the boy child program. So that is now a contradiction, whereby we have empowered women who cannot relate with unempowered men. And that is why we find there's a crisis. So one thing I would say is that as young people, I have started it. I have formed a club for gentlemen's club, whereby we meet weekly and discuss about manhood issues, discuss about what are the issues that affect us as men, what are the traps, what can we do to support one another. And out of this club, we get champions, we get champions of change, and they talk to this, they talk to their friends, and at the end of the day, they help those people. Because if we are not going to do that, it is not going to work. Secondly, we also start clubs in campus. Like for example, now we just started a club in Chuka University in Tarakanidi called Dudes Club, whereby we just discuss about manhood issues and what are the issues that are affecting us. What can we do so that we can be able even to just be responsible. So this is something that we are starting, this is something that we are doing, and I believe if we can be able, all of us, to come into the campaign of healthy manhood, I think we will not hear these things of killing ourselves. We will not hear these things of fights, gender-based violence, because as men, you know, there is one thing I can say is that we are not like ladies, we are not like women. It is a process for us to share. I can't just meet somebody today and talk to him about my personal issues, like unlike the ladies. So I think that is just a summary of what we do as a gentleman's club, Kijana Kamili program. And this is something that we want to roll it out in the whole country, in Africa, in the world, because that is my passion. And I think, I believe as we continue the conversation, we will discuss more. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Collins, for the brief about whatever you do with the Kijana Foundation. I think I've gotten the name right. Okay, I wanted you to bring a light to us, the delegates that were listening to you. How can we help the boy child not to, for example, when they maybe the boy child when they're in a relationship, some end up in a depression. So how can we help them? When you go for, let's say we organize for a boy child empowerment, how can we help them? Because you have said that the boy child, it's difficulty for them to open up, it's a process. So how can we help them? How can we assist them as the girl child so that you cannot be in being in one side saying that the girls are the ones who need empowerment more than the boys? So how can you give us a strategy on how to help them?
Okay, thank you so much, Gift. I think the most important thing, first of all, that I want to point out is that you cannot help a man, you cannot help a boy if he doesn't know himself. So the most important thing, first of all, as men, what we need to do, first of all, is to have a meeting with ourselves and be able to have self-actualization, whereby I can be able to define myself as a man. Once I have discovered myself as a man and I go out there, it will be easy for me even to handle issues of relationship. Because if I don't know myself as a man, I don't know myself as a boy, at the end of the day, if I'm in a relationship, it is going to be very hard for me to even understand the issues of relationship. Because again, nowadays we see men and boys defining ourselves with things, with material things, maybe with the company that I have, with the car that I drive, with the phone that I have. You see, that is wrong. First of all, you need to know, as a man, who am I? What are my roles? What am I supposed to do so that I can be still the man? And you see, nowadays, like I always tell women, like for example, you Kina Gift, I always tell you, you need to take the man the way he is. First of all, you need to understand the man, because I told you, many of us go through issues because we didn't have relationship with our fathers. Like you guys, you had relationship with your mothers. We didn't have those real conversations that will help us to understand ourselves as men with our fathers. So you find that our fathers were absent. Our fathers did not really get time to discuss with us what is the real definition of a man. So you as women, as Gift and your friends, what you need to do to help the boy child is, first of all, you need not to judge the boy child when you see a boy child behaving in a certain manner, because I might be behaving in a certain manner because of what I went through. Like personally, me, I didn't have a relationship with my dad. I don't remember discussing with my dad issues to deal with manhood, or issues to deal with what am I supposed to do in a relationship? What am I supposed to do when I have these challenges, maybe sexual challenges, when I have issues to deal with drug and abuse? It is just to teach us that the church was like having that support. You see now, say.
Excuse me, Collins. Excuse, I think your network has an issue. We can't hear you clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you can go on, but I don't know, but your network is somehow low, but go on.
Slow.
On the one hand, it doesn't make a ton of sense.
Pardon?
On the other hand, why?
Can you hear me well?
Would you ever consider doing this?
Not yet.
So for this to actually work, how fast would Mary have to cut?
But my husband's spoke to him.
Never gonna.
So what happens if Bear doesn't reach that speed? I'm imagining a bug hitting windshield. How far off am I?
Not very far. Let me worry about how fast I can go. We're gonna do something else too. Really?
Gift, if I may.
I don't know about you guys, but
Yes.
I'm all interested in
Can someone else speak and let Collins try to log out, then log in to try and fix the network issue?
Okay, no problem.
what's he need a time
Thank
machine
you.
for? Apparently he lost his speed when he killed my mom. He gets it back sometimes, but only his first. So I was right about the wheelchair. He was using it to charge himself. So after I open the wormhole, he's gonna need the ship to travel back.
Okay, I can welcome anybody to say something about the boy child.
Ryan, I love you, but
If you have any idea how we can handle boy child, maybe when they are facing stress or depression, because you all know boy child, they are very hard to speak out and they take time before they open up. Some even they prefer dying with their depression or stress. So you can tell us, girls, we talk too much. Somebody can notice whether we have stress or not, but men pretend they are so, how can you explain it?
Strong and masculine as the
Yeah.
society is painting them to be.
Yes.
Actually, we're just having that discussion right now on men and issues, and it's a concern not only to us who are here, but also to other people, that there is a way the society has cultured men to think that they are strong, and if they come out and say their issues out loud, they'll be considered as weak or that they're not man enough. So what I would love to suggest is we should try and take the boys' mentorship a notch higher. Let us try to empower them more, because in a span of 9 months, even if a woman or a female decides to sleep with a man every day, she can only get pregnant once. But if the man decides to sleep with one woman every month, he can impregnate every woman that he spends the night with, unless it's a already pregnant woman. So even the issue of teenage pregnancies, we should really include the boy children, because they are part of the bigger picture. The girls, we can empower one girl, but if we empower one boy, we are helping a very huge number of girls. And actually, I can see the CEO of Awino Foundation there. Welcome, Judy. Thanks for joining in. And I welcome any other views that you guys have.
Anybody
I
else?
think if anyone, they can raise your hand. Yeah.
Collins, is your network back?
I don't know. Maybe you tell me. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can
you're
hear
clear.
you well.
a great and honorable destiny awaits you now. I only hope that as you live,
Go on, Collins.
who gave
Oh, so as I was saying, I was not able to hear what my other co-host was saying. So I don't know. As I was saying,
Your network is shaking again. I don't know why. Collins?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Your network is shaking again. Or maybe you can use without the video. Can you use without the video? You only use the audio. At least you see if the network will work.
How about now?
Okay, go on.
So I think we need to all of us work together and support one another. As women and girls, we also need to give
Collins, I think you should work on your network. It's having some shaking. Work on your network, please. Then you get back to us.
And then part of his plan to get home would mean that he'd have to.
Okay, I'd seen Judy Oricho had raised up her hand. Kindly, you can talk, give your views in the previous discussion that you're having.
There is no science to coincidence.
Yes, Judy?
Yes, hello everyone. This
Hi.
is Richa. I'm the CEO and founder at the Winner Foundation. And I'm glad that we are having this discussion here today, this evening. I hope you're hearing me well. My voice is shaky.
Yeah, you're clear.
Okay. So what I'd say about what we need to do to the boys. It's true, boys have been neglected for quite some time now. And probably it might be contributed, empowering women more, or rather I'd say girls more, might be a big contribution to what we are witnessing today.
Judy, are you still there?
So long. Thanks for all the fish.
Judy. Okay, Judy has disappeared. They don't know where she has gone. I think it's the network. Okay, we can have any other question so that you can bring it on board. As we wait for Collins to handle the network, we can have any other person. Anyone with any view? Katile. But I just call randomly. Katile, are you there?
Hello, Gift.
You can give us your view.
Okay, for me, I think we are more focused on the girl child than the boy child. You find that most organizations, if you can look at, two dads are about a girl and a dad are about boys. So it's like, I don't know if the boy child, everything has been done for them, or we need to do other things. So maybe from the group, we can give us views on how we can empower the boy child in school, at home, everywhere, how we can encourage the boy child. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I was reading some of your chats. Somebody said, it's time to bring back or strengthen peer mentorship programs in schools. Yes, we can say that most of us say, Samuel, kindly mute. Okay, I hope you can hear me clearly now. Okay, I was saying somebody has asked about the peer mentorship programs whereby we majorly focus on the girls, but boys also have peer pressure. You know, boys like competing so much more than I don't think the girls, we can say they are highly, because every boy wants to be, let's for example, give an example of becoming rich. Every man wants to be rich so that he can be able to sustain the needs of the girl. So that is also peer pressure, because when we level each other the same, we find some men end up in depression and also stress. So we can't say that depression and stress is majorly brought by relationships. It's brought by a lot of things, even ulcers. It's brought by a lot of things whereby you find the men, they can be in a competition. You know, most of us don't know if men also compete. We only say girls are the ones who compete so much. But men also compete whereby you find they want to show off each other to their friends that I have money to sustain my girl, I have money to start a family, something like that. So I was just briefly talking about the peer mentorship programs in schools. This could help address certain issues affecting the boy child and the girl child, mostly in schools whereby you find it's a mixed school. Most mixed schools are faced by a lot of issues because it's the boy child and the girl child. So when you find if it's mentorship programs, you find the mentors are only focusing on the girl child. But it's high time now we change the perspective and start the boy child mentorships. Okay, I want to welcome the views. I can see Mata Oguna had raised a hand. I kindly give you the platform. You can say something for a few minutes.
Thank you, Gift. How are you, everyone?
Fine.
I'm glad to be here. I just wanted to comment on something, and I may sound just a bit controversial, but we have to always ask ourselves, are we training our boys to be like girls, and are we training our girls to be like boys? Because there has to be a clear cut on how we've been training these two genders, knowing very well that will never be, for me, as per me, will never be equal, but we can have equity in terms of the things that we access, but we do not also expect boys to go. Probably that's the reason why we will always see also some boys, will give them some bit of some training, and now they start seeing like they can also be kept by a woman. They don't have to work, they don't have. So we have to be, I think these many trainings that we are doing, we have to focus on what content are we giving both girls and boys, because I'm also seeing now even the more organizations that are coming up to train girls and so forth are training now girls to stand up like, like men. People should be taught to be, I should be taught to stand up as a woman and not compete with the other gender. And equally the same with the boy child. Today, if they were to be trained, they should actually be trained to actually stand up as a man, but not to actually, do what women do. I think we are having some bit of confusion, and this is what we are having issues all along as we are trying to empower both sexes. So I think this is something as organizations we should put in perspective, to note that what are we exactly training these people? I mean, the fact that I was born different from a man means that we'll never be the same. But at the same time, we want actually to have equal rights in terms of access to there's so many things. So we have to be very careful in the things that we are actually training in both sexes. Thank you, Gift.
Okay, thank you, Martha, for the brief, for your views. Okay, I can see some people chatting saying we need to give guidance and counseling to the boy child, whereby we teach them about sustainable development goals. Okay, I understand many people are saying also the boy child should also depend about how they are raised up by the parents. But I can give another view whereby you find that the boy child, he has been raised well by both parents, but it teaches, I don't know, it's like a culture of Africa, I don't understand, but it teaches a point whereby when you reach 18 for a boy child, you're being told you go and look on how you survive. Because now sometimes they don't know. I think it's a culture. I don't know, but I found culture that way when I was still born. I still got the culture. So can somebody give us the view of that, whereby you find some communities say when a boy child reaches 18, he needs to go and starting a living or start doing something to earn something. That's why you get some men in universities are really struggling to meet their needs. So how can you help such men? And that's why I think that's where they end up also having a lot of issues on how to handle life. You find a man is so depressed or he has already given up because you find he's struggling.
You know,
And then
now
when you
gift, but you know, now gift, within this same culture that is telling this boy to go get a job is the same culture that is telling the girl to go get married. So we are having a lot
so
of
how
confusion in some of these things that we are actually trying to train both genders. And I think as organization, I think it's high time that we admitted either there's something that we are not doing right. You know, we are not admitting. And I tend to think that, unfortunately, by the way, and I'm sorry to say this, is that many times we are actually being donor wants us to implement in Africa, young our children, because these same people will tell this boy, go and work. It's the same society that expects me to go get married. And you know, and it looks like an achievement for me as a woman to actually go get married. And then it's an achievement as a man to actually go get a job. So where is this line that we are drawing to make sure that we are actually giving the right content and actually just training our children to be who they should be? That should be my take on this.
Okay, I have understood, Martha. So that's why I asked, how can we draw the lines, or how can you come up with a solution of such cultures? Because also cultures are bringing a lot of issues in our lives, whereby you find the girls, they are limited in doing some things, the men are limited in doing some things, then you don't even understand what to do because the culture is saying that. So we also want to come up with solutions by the end of the forum on how we're going to remove such cultures and let our men be and let our ladies be so that they can have successful lives. So we should also think, as the session is going on, we should also think of solutions after the session so that everyone goes home with a take home that I have a solution. When I find such a situation, I can give out a solution of something. So as the session goes on, kindly give your views in the chat box. Okay, there's Galaxy Tab A. I can see your hand is raised. Kindly say something for a few minutes.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
My name is David. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes.
For me, I always look it as the way we raise boy child and the way we raise girl child. Mostly, if you look at the culture, as like say like culture, we will say even mwanaume ni kuvumilia, and that makes able to speak what are going feeling. Hence, men into feelings they can't express as to learn to kill themselves. They may have that's to find men killing themselves. Boys raise us hence you find when a child grow up so it's hard to find
Kindly, David, your network
they
is
know how
not
to
clear.
kill themselves. That's what happens. And as I said, that culture, the way it always
David, your network is not clear.
Am I okay?
Yeah, you can go on now.
Is everyone can hear me?
Yeah, but still the network is shaking, but go on.
Am I clear now?
Yeah, you're clear.
Okay, I'm saying when it comes to culture, culture as we have been going to culture, it's always known that men or always mistreat women. As the culture, everyone knows that a man always mistreat a woman. That's how it's always known. But we find that there are men who are being beaten by women or even girls, but they can't talk because in the culture it's known as a woman is always beaten. So if your man is beaten, you always say that you're weak. You always look as a weak person. You cannot stand. You're not a man anymore. You are not a man enough. It's because if you go back there, you find that a man was taught to keep his feeling, that don't cry, you're a man, don't cry. Hence, you find that because you don't know how to express your feeling, you find it for you, you keep them. And the more they pile, the more they overcome you. Depression hitting. That, for me, I always say that is what have been major issue, mostly in Africa. For me, I always look at that. So the way we raise boys, we should look from that angle. But when they're young, if a boy cries, tell them it's okay to cry. Not a man should not cry. A boy cries, it's okay to cry. Because when they're crying, they express their, let them express, not kuvumilia. That's for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. Okay, as you have stated, you can see you have analyzed a lot of things about the boy child, whereby you have seen depression, stress. Okay, there is the part of the parents raising the boy child. Some families, they are facing poverty. So sometimes even the boy child gets it hard because you'll be told by the parents, go to the farm, go do this, go do this. So the boy child gets a lot of issues when being raised because obviously the culture also comes in, still you'll be told you're the man. And then in another view, you find that now the parent, or you're staying with your mom and you're the only child and you're a boy child, now you're being told you're the man of the house. You're supposed to feed your mom. So sometimes some men get discouraged from day one. So sometimes during the life experiences of the boy child since young, it can affect him as he grows up. So we should also find solution to handle such men. Not, you can't just go to a man and start telling him you want to do boy child empowerment to him. It's not that easy. For the girls, you can go and they will listen, but for a man, they have little patience of sitting and listening to such things because they're thinking on how they can get money to do something at the end of the day. In short, their minds work fast. So there's someone else who has raised up his hand, so we can also hear a view from him. A man, something like Hamani, something. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrongly, but welcome and say something.
Okay. Gift thanks and the thanks team for participating. Sorry, I joined in late. My name is Hamani from Uganda, and I really appreciate for organizing this. Straight to the topic, I suggest or I'll do kindly emphasize not to copy what other world is doing. When you look at girl-boy empowerment, we should look at service delivery. When a girl goes for an interview, we can get the job that a man could have. Let's not look at the culture, because you can't tell me a girl, honestly, we should look beyond only service delivery. Other things we should also put into consideration. For example,
telling a girl to meet a boy that, okay, start seducing, telling a boy, I love you, what. Culture doesn't work, it doesn't make sense. I don't know other cultures, but honestly, here in Uganda, it doesn't make sense. They will consider you a prostitute, consider you something different. But as we are organizing for or preparing our boys and girls, let's look at service delivery, and it could make sense for the team, for the boys. Let's say boys at home. Yes, to me, it is okay to cook when my wife is at office. It is okay. Can we teach the boys to be the same? Can we teach the country, the continent, that you can cook? Yes, you can cook if your wife is busy, engaged in other things. Support, and we do the same to our ladies. Yes, you're beautiful, you've worked out, blah, blah, all that. But if the man, you see the man is not working and you have some money, can you support? It is so that we move at the same pace. And actually, once we introduce such service, being equal, whatever we talk about, putting aside other cultural kind of service, or not forgetting our cultural norms, the country, the nation, the continent, the world will move on well. The reason why girls are manning for this, they feel not attaining a service. They don't, I think they are looking at the cultural benefit. I'll come back for other submission, but for now, honestly, we shouldn't forget about our culture. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amani, for the small introduction or talk about the culture. Okay, to add on that, we are talking about the boy child empowerment. So when you start the boy child empowerment, of course, you will tell them that for you, what I've understood, it's like you should have equality, whereby when you get married or you marry, you find that when your wife is somehow sick or she's busy, obviously you should help each other as husband and wife. Whereby some boy childs don't do that because of culture. They'll be like, kwetu huwa hatupasi kupika chakula ama hatupasi kuingia jikoni juu tumelelewa hivyo na hiyo ni culture yetu. I hear some men say that is their culture. They're not supposed to go to the kitchen to cook anything. So at some point I asked them, when you get married to that lady, well, what if she's sick? You want to tell me that you're going to take food from the hotel and bring for the kids? So we should also ask ourselves that. Okay, somebody has complained about my background. Okay, I'll just mute. Okay, I hope I'm clear now. So according to me, I've understood that there should be equality in the both girl child and the boy child in attending of services. We should not focus on the culture. I know cultures and norms. There's some tribes that their culture says a man should not go to the kitchen to cook. So even if the wife is sick or not sick, my friend will have to go to the kitchen and cook for your kids. Okay, we go on. Collins, is your network back so that you can take over from where you left as you wind up? And welcome the next speaker. Collins, are you still there?
Yes, Gibbs. Can you hear me? I think there's a problem with
I
my
can
side.
hear you, but
Yeah, I think there's a problem on my side. I don't know why, because
What's happening? Your network is really shaking. I don't know why. You can go on, Collins, as we monitor your network. Go on.
Yeah, I hope you guys will hear me, but let me just go on. Then you will alert me if it's not working. I have been hearing what you've been saying, and I think the most important thing is two dimension of culture. There is good culture and there is bad culture. And that is why you bring our trainings. We can't forget our culture.
Excuse, Collins. Your network is still shaking. Some words you can hear, some words you cannot. So I think work on it first as you welcome the next speaker. Because people are saying they can't even hear what you're saying. Kindly work on it, please. Or we look for another option on how you can present your work kindly.
If his network is too bad, he can type, then we can read to the.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, any other person who has a different perspective about the boy child? Because you've talking, I can generalize or write down what you've talking about. You have said about depression, stress, culture, how you're supposed to be brought up in the family, and then financial stability and the background that you come from. I think you have talked about like 5 major points about the boy child. Anything that you can add on? Or if you have a solution, you can also say as you wait for the next speaker as he's preparing himself to present whatever he or she has.
Give just a quick comment. I just wanted to say that I really loved what Hamani said, that in as much as that we want to do away with culture, there's so much that also culture plays in our lives. So not everything that is cultural is bad, but we have to know the context that this culture is bringing up. So I just wanted to mention that I love what Hamani said.
Okay, thanks, Martha. Yeah, I know we are all brought up with culture. Every tribe has its own culture. But at some point, when you come to realize some things pertaining cultures are destroying part of us. Because you may ask somebody why you're not doing this, and you think somehow it will lead him or her to success, but he's saying that my culture does not allow. So sometimes it also brings a lot of disappointment, a lot of depression, because you're trying to figure out how are you going to help yourself through that process. So yes, as much as the culture is with us, we can also look for ways. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Gift.
Yeah, so I was saying, as much as the culture is with us, there's some things about the culture, even me, I personally, I can just say, let me go away with this, because it's just things that our forefathers used to do. And sometimes even our parents, the ones who are our parents, they can also feel this culture is not good for our kids. Because sometimes it's also limits us to our success, to our successful lives. So I've not said that you can end the culture or whatever, but we just limit. We have some limits and know how to handle.
Okay, let me read a comment here from Austin Wanga. he says that what we must understand is that we are deeply rooted in culture. It is here with us. We then must find a balance with the culture bearers through sensitization and awareness. To my understanding, we should, in the sensitizations that we are doing at our own capacities, everyone here or other people that we know, the key thing is to also bring in the parents on board, because these cultures, most of these youth, these kids that we talk to, we try to empower and mentor, they are not really so deeply rooted in culture, which is very easy to convince them that this is wrong and this is right. But when they're getting this push from their parents, hata when you're talking about wanaume ni kuvumilia, it comes right to when you are a kid and you fall down or something, or you're fighting with other people and you're a boy. Utaenda kwa mzazi, unamwelezea kilichotendeka. And what does the parent tell you? Wanaume, they don't cry, men don't cry, wipe your tears, man up. So at the end of the day, when we are trying to address the issue of culture, when it comes to the empowerment of both the boy child and the girl child, we should not ignore the fact that our parents are also involved, or they play a key role in bringing up these children. So we have to speak out and also tell the parents, yes, we understand that we have these cultures and they are what makes us who we are, they are our identities, but there are some of the cultures which are good, which benefit us in terms of maybe keeping our morals upright and other things, but there are some which are, let me say, misleading in a way. Like when you bring up a child telling him that men don't cry, men don't speak out their problems. That is why even when we are addressing the issues of gender-based violence, someone was telling me just today that we women have to understand that gender-based violence is not a women's thing, but both genders. It's because men don't speak up. And it's because of these cultures, this upbringing that they're given since their childhood. So when you get a man, like some years back when the Senator Wetangula reported that his wife was the wife beating him up or what? It is us, the same people who were telling him he should man up. Why is he telling people that he's having problems and his wife is harassing him? So a common boy or a common man will ask, if a person of that high status can come out and try to speak, and this is what he's getting from people, how am I supposed to speak up? How am I supposed to tell my friends that I am stressed up? Or how am I supposed to tell my friends that I'm having issues? So yes, parents also play a key role in this. So as we try to sensitize these children, these young youths, we should also move the sensitization to our parents also. So that is what I can say on trying to balance between culture and empowerment. Marian from Abukai Murunga from Amot Network, welcome as you settle in. Gift, that was all I had for now.
Okay, I want to end up about the boy child. Okay, Collins has briefly explained in the chat box the things that a boy child should be helped in. You know, a lot of boy childs don't know about themselves. So he has briefly said one of the things that we need to do to the boy child is help him define himself the right way, understand the roles of man, traps and setbacks that affect boys, understand the importance of the support system. So I think when you have the four things about how to help the boy child, I think we can also come up with solutions on how to help them. And pertaining the culture, yes, I can support Opola about the culture, whereby there's some cultures that you can go away with them, and some you can say, okay, this one it's right, I can do it. Don't just be stuck on culture and then you do things for yourself and you say it's about culture. When you be asked, why did you do this? It's culture. So, and you're so furious about it. You're feeling like you're not yourself. So kindly look at the cultures and what they say, if you can go with them or not. Okay. Our next speaker, are you ready or you still need more time?
She's ready. So Marian, you can unmute and kindly join us.
Okay, hello, good evening. My name is Marian Murunga. I've been on the move, sorry. Guys, I was not able to catch up with most of the discussion that was going on. I'm the co-founder AMOT, and we are all about advocating for social justice for women and girls in Busia County. Yeah, I've listened keenly to what my colleague Collins has shared about what he's doing to advocate for issues of boys, and really it's recommendable following the existing gaps that have been created for the boy child. I would want to briefly talk about girl child empowerment, and as much as I would want to talk about it, I think I'll also just talk as much about boy child disempowerment. We have to understand that there's been a system that has been created by our community that tends to keep on misleading us, a system that keeps on defining masculinity in a very wrong way, a system that says a man should not fear, a system that says a man should always spend, men up and not come up. And I think that is where we should start the discussion from, because that is now the root cause of all the disempowerment and the gaps we are talking about. Yeah, because this has been a system and it's been controlled by people. It was a system that was formed by our forefathers, and we've just inherited the whole system and we continue to run with it. And I think for me, the way to go about the entire discussion is just to narrow down to the deep-rooted problems. What is causing boy-child disempowerment? What is making us advocates align so much with girl-child as opposed to boy-child? And advocate so much for girls' issues because understand so well the challenges they go through. And this is borrowed from his history. We see the imbalances created right at the household level. And you know, most of the time when we talk about gender inequality, we don't view it from a higher level, but we view it from, it starts from the household level. When you see girls being exposed to more hard labor than the boy child themselves. But that is the statistics we have. Have we gone down to the reality and seen what exactly happens? It may be also that the boy child is exposed to more labor, but because it doesn't come out, then it translates into that kind of gap, and now we call boy child disempowerment. Yeah, so I run an initiative for girls. It's called the G-Space program, and we are all about advocating for issues of girls, particularly issues of sexual reproductive health and rights. We advocate, we empower girls with information on their sexuality, because this part of Kenya, Busia County, we've seen teenage pregnancies being on the rise, and that has inhibited the development of girls and women. in my community. And we keep on doing this, not that we are trying to be biased, but we are trying to identify what are some of the key challenges, the imbalances that exist in the community. When Collins talks about the platforms he's providing as an advocate, how many of Collins do we have in all our communities in Kenya? How many men advocates do we have who are advocating for issues of boy child? So you talk of when recently even Senator Malala was crying in the Senate House, people laughed him off. Guys, men and boys laughed him off because they say that was the most and greatest thing he did. But I tell guys, it's okay to cry as a man. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be weak. It's okay to come out as you. I mean, who are you as a man besides the society? You know, as Collins say, learn to define yourself as a man. Who are you as a man without that society? The society keeps defining men, and we've run with the whole idea of that bad definition. And I think that is why we continue to suffer, and that's why we say there is boy-child disempowerment. And I think I would also want to attribute this to, we don't have enough men advocating for the issues of their fellow boys, because they so understand so well the challenges they go through. Just like me, I advocate so much for issues of girls, because I understand I've grown up in a society whereby girls have been marginalized, girls' rights are violated. Do we have men who are ready to stand up for their fellow boys? Do we have men who are ready to break up the system that has been created for a very long time? In Chimamanda's book called Why We Should All Be Feminists, she says rightly that the society has redefined masculinity, as I've said earlier. The society keeps telling us men should not be vulnerable, men should not fear, men should not spend. And we keep running with the same idea to a point that it now haunts us as a society. But I think the solution to all this, are we ready to go deep and identify the problem? And as I've heard all of you are saying, we are not seeking for equality, but you're seeking for equity, access to opportunities. The imbalances the girl child is facing is clear, it's evident. And the problem we are having today is we are having men now who don't know how to handle maybe empowered women. And that is not their problem, because there are just not enough platforms for them to know themselves as men and just, know themselves as men and come up strongly, boldly. I want to encourage and just tell men out here and guys, I mean, let's speak out. Let's allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not a show of weaknesses, but it's a show of strength. Let's come out. Let's always speak out in case there's a violation of rights. Let's always call it out. And I think once we start doing that, the issue of this boy-child disempowerment will end, will start to end. I know the process of effecting change is a very difficult one, but I think when we have a mindset shift, it's okay for me to cry. It was okay for the senator to cry in the Senate, but people off saying he was a man. Unless we start changing that narrative, is when we'll start looking at things from a different perspective. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Amot, for the presentation. Although your background was so noisy, I hope the delegates have had something that they can say one or two things. Anybody who can add on that?
I would like to support what Marianne has just said. Yes, we women or we ladies, we advocate for girls' rights and go ahead to empower girls more because we came from there. We understand the problems they might be facing or what they are facing. It might be what we have gone through or what we have seen our friends or sisters go through. So it is easier for we women to champion for the rights or to empower or mentor girls. So I would like to also challenge the men out here, men in this Zoom meeting, men watching live on Facebook, men all over the country and the world. Stand up for the rights of boys and men in the society. You know what they are going through. You have been there before. You have seen someone you know go through that. You have had stories from your friends, stories they cannot really come out and speak to the rest of the world or the necessary people to get help. So you are the ones who are supposed to at least help them speak out. You know, when we women try and tell men it is okay to speak out your problems, or you should come out and tell us this, they won't believe us. They look at us like, you girls don't know what you're saying. You don't know what we are going through. So it's a challenge. The way we women are out here all over the country, you see the female MCAs, the female senators, other females in the business community and other areas championing for rights, or are there to speak out or help other women speak out when they see something wrong happening to a woman. That is the same spirit we want the men to have. Because when, even the case the other day of the lady who gave birth outside Pumwani Hospital, women all over the country, despite the capacity, the social status, they were out there on the internet, on TV, making noise about it. But when, like the case Marian has just told us, of the senator crying in Senate, the same men are the same people telling him or giving funny comments online. He's a man and he's crying. What is he doing? Why is he crying in front of national TV and all? You guys are the same people who are supposed to tell your fellow men that it is okay to cry, it is okay to be low, it is okay to face problems, and it is okay to seek help. Because that is the only way we can do this. We've had Collins telling us himself he had issues because he did not have a relationship with the dad. And that is the same thing we meet on the ground when we go for mentorship programs. Why don't you as a man, every man out, I'm talking to all the guys out there, take up the opportunity to mentor another boy, be the father that he does not have. Be that figure that he's missing in his life to ensure that he grows up to be a better man than you are. Maybe you realized late, or maybe, yes, you were brought up well and you had all that and you're a good man. Make sure the boys you have in your area, in your locality, just start small. Make sure you be that father figure and lead him right. And at the end of the time, if you mentor one or two, these two will mentor two others when they grow up, and we will be securing a better future for both our boys and our girls. So yes, that was my challenge to the men out there. Back to you, Gift.
Okay, thank you, Apollo, for the view. Okay, majorly you have talked about the boy child leaving behind. Right? Okay, let us be specifically about the boy child. A lot of the boy child don't express themselves, while the girl child we do to our friends, because we love talking so much to our friends. But the boy child, they don't understand. But sometimes they do share, But is that one thing you should learn with men? They carry secrets so deeply until they don't expose them so much. But for the girls, sometimes when you see your friend, a lady has gone, kitu imemwapenia imempaka anasikia tu chungu kabisa, you feel like now I need to share with someone else so that you can communicate to that lady in direct. Okay, any other view from any other person? Anybody else who wants to say something a little bit about the boy child or the girl child? Any can fit. Now we are going to generalize both, so we are not going to talk only about the boy child. Okay, I can see James Karongo. Kindly welcome and speak for a few minutes.
Thanks for the opportunity, and I hope you can hear me well. My name is James Karongo. I work with an organization called LVCT Health, and I support adolescents and youth programming. My comment is that in the society which we live in is mostly patriarchal. It's a patriarchal society. So by the time the boy child is born, the boy child already has an advantage over the girl child. You know, if you look at the family structures, if you look at the socialization, everything, priority is always given to the boy child. And therefore, even as this girl comes into the world, she has some disadvantage over the boy child. And I think over time, that's why there are programs to empower the girl child more, so that they bring the girl child to the same level with the boy child. However, now what has happened is the boy child has been forgotten kiasi. Si sana, kiasi tu. Because remember, bado boy child have an advantage over the girl child. In many things in the society, the boy child have an advantage over the girl child. However, the empowerment should be equal, because now what happens is, now when the girls are empowered, they overcome these boys who now feel threatened because the girls are already empowered. And you know what happens in the society when the status of men is threatened? What happens? They rebel or they revolt. And therefore, as we implement programs in the community and people who do programs, we should reach out to both the boys and the girls, so that they are all at the same level, because they are all affected with the same issues. Because when some of these girls get pregnant at an early age, it's not always that they are impregnated by boys who are older than them. Sometimes their fellow boys at the same age. And therefore, it is important that when you're talking about empowerment, we should empower both the boy child and the girl child. However, not forgetting that the boy child has an advantage over the girl child, and therefore it should be brought so that they are all at the same level, and so that we can be able to win in the fight for gender equality and gender equity. Otherwise, if we don't bring, you know, the two parties to the same level, to the talking table, and if we don't challenge the existing structures in the community, we don't bring everyone on board, then we'll be doing ourselves disjustice. So it's important that we bring everyone on board and also ensure that the empowerment is distributed equally, and also just reminding them that they need each other to coexist. One person cannot coexist on their own. The boys need the girls and the girls need the boys. So it's just seeing how do they coexist, and then understanding what are their roles, and, you know, the gender roles, the sex roles, and all that. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, James. That was a nice presentation about the empowerment of the girl child and the boy child. Okay, we can briefly say some little things that you have learned. Maybe somebody can say whatever he or she has learned through the session. What is your take home? You can just give some view, and if you have a solution to any of the points that has been said, you can also give your views, so that we can come up with a summary of what exactly was the session about and the solutions that you've given during the session. Kindly, anyone? Anyone? We talked about depression, stress, culture, and so, okay, the three, you can give a solution. How can we handle that when it comes to the boy child? Because when I say the girl child, I know everybody will give me a solution for that. So majorly, let's take like 5 minutes and focus in the boy child. Can you give us solutions to that? Because one, you've been told you should be able to define, the boy should be able to define himself in the right way so that he can know exactly who he is. So can you give us just like 2 or 3 solutions on how we can handle such things in the boy child? Kindly, the boy childs in the forums, can you give us solutions? Any? Or even the girl child, you can also chip in and tell us something. Anybody?
While they're still warming up or trying to find the solution, I would just try to highlight some solutions have already been said by the previous speakers. So it's just a matter of highlighting them. So as James has just said, we who are already doing mentorship programs on the ground should incorporate boys in the programs. Because already in my area around Busia County, I have seen a lot of us doing mentorship programs for girls alone. Though boys are sometimes difficult, like for me, I've had a program, this is the 2nd month. We were announcing for both boys and girls to come. The girls came from week 1, and when we already 7 weeks into it is when we start seeing boys appearing after a lot of really begging them to come. So we should, okay, and I would love to say that what worked is I tried to incorporate things that boys love to do. Because with again, how they are brought up, wakisikia wanakuja tu kukaa kuongeleshwa, it never makes sense. So try to do some attractive programs so that the boys can come. Second, when we are trying to do sensitization on culture, we should also include the parents or the senior citizens in our areas. Third, the things Collins had told us about how we should go about mentoring the boys. So maybe Gift, later you can highlight the things Collins had written so that those who joined in late can hear. Then yes, I have seen someone has just written that we should create safe spaces for men. That is Angela Kimani. Thank you for your input. Create safe spaces for men to be vulnerable and freely express. This is from home. From home, yes, that is parenting in families and to workplaces. So yes, when we are trying to bring our parents on board, we should also sensitize them to understand that they should also provide these safe spaces for the boy child as much as they do for the girl child. So yes, can some other people please kindly give your solutions? Thank you, Gift.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Opolo. Okay, I highlighted the first speaker, Collins Moridi, had said how to help the boy child. 1, define himself the right way, understand the roles of a man, traps and setbacks that affects boys, and understand the importance of support system. Okay, can see Carolina has given a view whereby how to help the boy child, encourage open and honest conversation, acknowledge their inner struggles, show support without being pushy, can help you gain the child's trust, allow them to talk about their problems and worries when they come up. This will help you to be able to spot potential warning signs and react accordingly. This is majorly talking about the upbringing of the parents to the boy child. Okay, any other person who has a solution? on the things that you have discussed and highlighted. Any other person? Katile, you can give a view if you're still there. Katile, are you still there?
Hello.
Yeah,
I'm taking in. There's a suggestion in our page from Rhoda Maragu.
Yes.
Saying in matters of law, she really emphasizes with young boys who engage in sexual relationship with equally young girls and are increasingly being arrested and charged with defilement. So because their girls' parents demand them for arrest, so the courts should stick to the law, sending boys to prison or foster homes while the girls go back to school under the Ministry of Education. So Rhoda is asking, who said girls cannot lure boys to such things? Both boys and girls should be empowered. What's your thought, Gift?
Pardon your question.
Rhoda Marabu.
About?
Like you find that in matters of increasing teenage pregnancies, the boys are taken to prison and the girls go back to school. So what do you think about that?
Okay, the teenage pregnancy whereby the girls are not going back to school because of the pregnancy, or the boys are supposed to stand for their, teenage pregnancy.
I think what Katile is trying to say is when both youths are below 18 and they are one of them has gotten the other pregnant, right? So the question was, because the young boys are going to prison and the girls are being taken back to school. So the lady was asking, who says that sometimes girls don't lure boys to have sex?
Okay, I've understood the question. That's about the rights. So the ladies think that they have the right to report sexual harassment, while the men don't think. Now that one, I can think it comes up with the culture still, whereby the culture believes that a man is the one who approaches the lady to an extent that they go to sexual activities. So, sorry for that. So, it is a matter of the law. The law also believes that is law and culture that believes that the man is the one who approaches the lady, and maybe the lady also can fake that he was sexually harassed by the man. Whereby when the man says that I didn't sexually harass the lady, or maybe the lady demanded, so you find that sometimes there is no proof, there is no voice for the man to be listened and be told, okay, this is how we understand it. So it's a wide topic whereby it needs a lot of considerations, but still it goes upon the culture and the law, whereby the parents believe that it's the man who defiled their daughter. So you can't tell them anything. And obvious, the culture in our African community, it believes that the man sometimes is the one who approaches the lady to an extent to do sexual activities. So it ends up with the culture and the law, whereby I can say we can't say anything about the culture and the law because it's beyond our limits, because now when you enter to culture and the law, it needs a lot of consideration how you're going to handle it and how are we going to speak out and tell the people that also the ladies, it reaches a point that they approach the men for it. Any other view?
If I may, someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think according to the law, when both are minors and they engage in these activities, they are both liable, and both of them are supposed to go in prison, not just the boy, because at that time it's like whatever may consent, they are both together in this. So unless it is a case of rape, it is not just the boy who is supposed to be held accountable.
Okay, I support that. I know it's supposed to be that way, but at this point, you find that a lady or a child can say that she was raped.
Yes.
And now, you know, the man cannot even say anything. Maybe the lady came to him and forced him to do that. But now the matter at point is that sometimes we don't have evidence. And then as a man, you can't be heard. So you find even sometimes there's a lot of favorism when it goes to the police station, whereby you find the girl child is the one will be heard because it's the one who's carrying the pregnancy and it's the one who is.
What I can say is, I can see also Austin Wanga had highlighted something. He was asking if we can also discuss sexuality issues at an early age. This, in view with sexuality diverse population, it is an area highly stigmatized yet affects a number of adolescents in school. So it's a large topic together with what we are trying to talk about right now about sexual rights and health, which is also another wide topic, which I think we should line it up for the next meeting. Let us focus today on empowerment of boy child and girl child. So we can line
Austin,
up our, yes.
Austin, we have a session on Monday about sexual harassment. I think you can join. We will talk about the sexual harassment and the sexuality issues at an early age. There we can put the topic wide so that you can all understand, because when you start the topic right now, it will have a long session and time is running out. So Katile, I hope you have answered your question, or still you need a wide view.
So Rhoda Maragu's question, yeah, it's answered.
Okay, yeah, it's answered, because now that one, it needs a lot of consideration. You can't give specific solution. Okay, any other question before we start winding up for the session?
Mine would just to thank all the speakers and those who joined us both on the Zoom meeting and live on Facebook. We are truly honored to receive your views, comments, and just to have you listening and looking at whatever we were having today. We are so grateful, and we encourage you to take something home, and not just for yourself, but for people around you. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Martha. We are also truly honored to have you. Back to you, Gift.
Okay, thank you, my co-moderator. Okay, also as the project coordinator of the Youth Barrier Breakers Africa, we thank you for joining the session. On Monday, we have another session of sexual harassment. We'll update you in the group. Okay, and if you feel like you have any other thing that you should do training of, you can chat either Katile or I, and we'll give you a way forward, or use our email or our page in Facebook, and we'll give you a way forward about how we can help you. And thanks for all those who joined. I think we can wind up right now if there's no any other question that you have or any burning issue that you want to bring on board as we wind up. Anybody before we close the session, so that you can't leave anyone out? Okay, the silence means there's none. So I think we can close our session, and we thank all the speakers. Amos, thank you, and Collins, thank you for honoring our invites and being our speakers for today. Okay, we can all leave. I think we are done. Thank you. Or Katile, you have anything to say?
Is it possible for Apollo to share the information of their group?
Okay, it's possible. Apollo, can you share something about your group? You told us you work with the Tabasamu initiative.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Nelly Asere Opolo. I am the founder and director of Tabasamu Initiative, which is a community-based initiative dealing with menstrual hygiene management, mentorship, character development, talent mentorship. So currently I am based in Busia County. The most recent project is a mentorship program which I'm partnering with the Anglican Church of Kenya, Katakwa Diocese, which I have weekly mentorship programs for both boys and girls. For girls, we've done more than 8 weeks, but for boys, last week was just our second week. So I would love to thank you guys for having me and would encourage you to continue mentoring and empowering our youth, both boys and girls. Do not discriminate. Do not focus so much on one gender. Please empower our youth. They need it. Our parents have been very busy trying to look for school fees and try to provide for the needs of the children, that they left the work to the teachers. And with these months that the children have been home, we have clearly seen how it has really affected. So if you are a parent, kindly spare few minutes of your time when you're from work. Try and talk to your child. Know how her day or his day was, and try to be open and not judgmental, and you'll realize a lot of problems that I and other people are trying to fix with your children that you could easily fix. So thank you for the opportunity. It has been great being here, and I'm looking forward to more partnerships with Barrier Breakers. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Opolo. It was an honor being a moderator, and it's an honor to know about your initiative, Tabasamu Initiative. Okay, I think we should now wind up. Thank you for those who joined for the session and those who are live in Facebook. Thank you so much. Okay, you can have a lovely night. I was your moderator today, Gift. Okay, have a good night. Nice time.
Good night from Uganda. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you for joining us.
Wait, how frequently will you be having the Zoom meetings?
Okay, we have, I think, the last one on Monday about sexual harassment. And then maybe
all right.
And then maybe after some few weeks, or we can organize other trainings.
I really appreciate for the.
Can one be able to
Hello,
access
Samuel.
the live?
Hello, I really appreciate for the empowerment. It has really assisted me. It has
You're
really kept me to
welcome.
the next level. I really appreciate.
You're welcome.
Gift, before you go, someone was asking if they can access the other sessions online, like the one you're having on Monday. Can they follow live on Facebook?
Yeah. We have shared a link whereby you have formed an WhatsApp group of the Youth Barrier Breakers updates. And you can also find us in our page in Facebook, Youth Barrier Breakers, whereby we update about our events. Kindly look on the chat box. The chair lady has shared the links. Have I answered your question?
I believe it is answered.
Okay. See you on Monday.